Hold still. This isn't going to hurt.
Now, back to Canton's Morning News on News Talk 1480 WHBC.
We want to talk a little bit about gluten-free.
Gluten-free for a moment.
Yes, because there are so many people who are turning to a gluten-free diet for one reason or another. I mean, it may or may not be that they need to, or they just think it's healthier, those kinds of things. And right now on our WHBC Newsline, we have food scientist Pamela Roybal. Good morning.
Good morning, Pam. How are you?
We're doing fine. We're talking about the gluten-free diets. They've become very popular, and there are now some new federal guidelines when it comes to gluten-free.
That's correct. The FDA just passed a law. Well, actually, they defined what gluten-free was last August of 2013, and they gave food manufacturers a year to comply. So as of the 5th of this month, this law is being reinforced, and basically what it is just a definition of what gluten-free is. So the FDA decided that gluten-free means that any packaged product contains 20 parts per million of less of gluten, which is a protein found in most grains, well, some grains like wheat, rye, and barley. So for food manufacturers like Cookies by Design, that represents a challenge because we have to make sure that we comply with this law, which is why for about 12 months we had to develop a recipe that not only tasted great like a regular sugar cookie, but that also complied with these laws.
All right. Well, prior to that, you mean there were people who had gluten in gluten-free foods?
Well, prior to that, there wasn't really a definition of what gluten-free was. We knew that there were celiac diseases, and we knew that people could be intolerant to gluten, but we didn't really know exactly how much gluten would be allowed. And 20 parts per million is the smallest amount of this protein that can be detected with certainty with the equipment that is available right now. Mm-hmm. And most people can take 20 parts per million of gluten. So really, there's a lot of people that suffer from gluten intolerance. There's about 18 million in the U.S. But to have celiac disease, only about 1 in every 133 people, so like about 3 million Americans have celiac disease.
Wow.
There's a really big market for it. It's estimated that it's going to be about a $5.5 billion market in 2015, and it's really hard to have a product that is gluten-free that tastes great. So food manufacturers like Cookies by Design, if you go to our webpage, which is cookiesbydesign.com, you can see that we have a bunch of bouquets that can be custom made and personalized, and they have to be labeled gluten-free because this is very important for our customers. And we have about 100 locations nationwide, mm-hmm. and we hand deliver unique gifts. So just because you suffer from a gluten intolerance or because you're celiac doesn't mean that you shouldn't be able to enjoy a delicious cookie.
Well, that makes sense. But once again, so the federal government has changed that and made it so you put a lot of work behind it to make sure you're getting those cookies done right.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. It's been challenging.
Right.
The results have been very good, especially with our product, because we do cookie bouquets. So not only did the cookie have to taste great and the delicious flavor that we were looking for, it also had to be able to stand on a stick. So.
Well, that makes sense. All right, well, Pamela, thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you. Have a great day, Gary.
Pam Cook and Gary Rivers, Canton's Morning News. And more. Weekdays beginning at 5:30 a.m. on News Talk 1480 WHBC.